Okay, live stream is going live. I'm in my Minecraft project, so if you need live stream, that's up now. Here we are. Maria, did you have a question before? When are we gonna do animation? We'll get to. I gotta get you good at the other stuff first. Animation is not a super beginner friendly kind of thing to start with. Like, I want you to get comfortable. You're looking at me skeptically, like you don't believe that. We're going to get to the animation stuff, but I need you to get comfortable with everything else in the engine leading up to that. Is there a question in that look? It's a good question. It's a good question because I know there's people in this class, Maria, who want to learn animation. They signed up for animation, for sure. So, yeah, we'll get to that. All right, let's get started. So everybody, pull up your Minecraft. Make sure you have your BP block blueprint open. That's our blueprint with all of our code on it. And just to review, what we did is we created something called an enum. That's a list, right? And the list stores the value of our block type, right? We made this list. We added dirt, grass, stone, water. I'm going to go ahead and kick it open so it stays open. Okay. So make sure you sign the attendance. It's right here by the front row, okay? All right, so what we did is we set the material of our static mesh, right? That's our cube. If we go in the viewport, it's called static mesh. That's our cube. And we set it to a given thing, whatever material we want. And then we have the health. And we set the health there. But nothing's happening with the health. So what we want to do is we want to find the thing called the projectile, which is actually the bullet that we use to shoot stuff. And so in your first-person blueprint, you're going to have something called the first-person projectile. I want you to go find that in the content browser. Find the first-person projectile just so you can see that. By the way, for those of you who want to change, what your bullet looks like, you don't like that it's, this big bouncy tennis ball sort of thing, you can change all of that in this blueprint. It's a blueprint first-person projectile. You can change the speed settings and all that sort of thing. And what I actually want to do is I want to put our code, to keep it simple, on the block itself. So the block will be responsible for, let's say, its own destruction. So when it destroys itself, or when it gets hit too many times, it's going to be responsible for itself. So what I want to do is I want you to go to your blueprint block, and you look in the viewport, so you can click on that static mesh. And if you scroll to the very bottom on the details panel, you'll find all of these different events. The event I want you to do is the one called onComponentHit. It's the very top one. And you just hit that plus icon. And then you can go to the event graph. And you'll have this new event that gets triggered when this box gets hit. So once you have that onComponentHit, and you're on the event graph, so you don't want to be on a construction script or something if you're on that. So again, to get to that, you click on your static mesh, your box, scroll to the bottom of the details panel, and you can choose all these different events that come from and affect the box. Okay. But the question is, what is hitting this thing? Because lots of things will collide with this box, and the other boxes, for example, will collide with it. We don't want it to destroy as soon as that. If we were doing something in Minecraft like dynamite, then maybe we would want that to have an event where if it collides with the other boxes, the other cubes, it causes destruction, like a chain reaction. But in this case, we just want to find out when our first-person projectile, this blueprint, hits this block. In order to do that, you can drag off of this thing that says other actor and then test for that. So that's what you're going to do. Drag off of other actor and type in cast to first-person projectile and choose that. Cast a first-person projectile. And what we can do is, after you have this and you make sure that the execution node is plugged in, the other actor is plugged in to the object, we can type in the word destroy actor. We're going to end up moving this later, but this is just to test whether our box actually gets destroyed when it's hit. So this will be like a one-hit kill. Every time you shoot a cube one time, it'll destroy, which we don't want. We want to count that against its health. But for now, I'm just going to add this destroy actor node. And then we'll hit play and we'll test it. We'll see. And it does. So if you hit play, when you what's cool too is if you get the ball to bounce, you can shoot two, you can kill two at once. So lost in that part?
Yeah.
Okay, so your code is so far just looks like 3 nodes. Real simple. And it's on the block. On our original block, the one we've been working from. Right? And what you do is you go to your static mesh, and in its details panel on the right, you scroll all the way to the bottom, and you get all these green things with plus icons. These are events, potential events you could do. And you want to add the one, it's actually called onComponentHit, and that event is for whenever the box gets hit by something. And you click the plus icon, and then that starts, if you go to the event graph, you'll now see that there's an event for this. Okay, event graph, not construction script. We did our code yesterday on the construction script. This is for event graph that's happening during the game. So then you drag off of the thing that says other actor, it's like 2 down on the onComponentHit, and you type in cast to first person projectile, your bullet. Then the very last thing you want is this thing called destroy actor, which doesn't need to be plugged into anything, by the way. So destroy actor should be, the target should say self, because it's a block that's going to be being destroyed. So itself is being destroyed. The thing running the code, which is the block, is being destroyed.
Okay. Yeah, I got these parts, but I think I missed something before that.
Okay, turn your computer around if you would.
Yeah, because I had error on it.
Okay, the only thing is you need to plug in other actor to the part that says object on your cast too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then try it. How's that working for everybody else? You destroying blocks? Yep, I see a few of you. Anybody it's not working yet? Cool.
Yeah. But I can't explain why. No, I didn't put this on. Alright, we'll work that like that.
Wait, did I just
Good.
Oh wait, hold on.
Yo, we can play a website game.
I destroyed water.
You know that, not Tetris, you know that one game where you shoot the ball to destroy blocks? And then once you destroy all the blocks, you go to the next level?
Oh my god, yeah, the I swear.
Hey,
As you can see, I'm wearing the key.
the MVC.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I kept it.
Very cool. Make sure you you sign attendance and you just put tardy. Yeah, go for it. Okay. So guys, we're gonna move on. Let's now make this so this actually works like it does in Minecraft, so we can set the strength of something. So what I want everybody to do is go ahead and disconnect this thing that says destroy actor. So listen up, just disconnect this. There's a couple ways you could disconnect a wire. You could right click and then do break link. I used to do that all the time until I discovered that if I hold Alt and click, it'll also break it, which is faster. But either way, if you have something you want to break it, you can either, of course, delete it, but if you want to save it for later, you could right click and just hit break link, and then it'll be broken. Because what we want to do actually here is we want to do a check. We want to ask, hey, is our block health 0? If so, destroy itself. If it's not, subtract its health by 1. And that way, every time you hit it, it gets a little weaker until it's at 0, and then it will be destroyed. And this way, we can set, a diamond block to take 30 or 40 hits, or where a dirt block takes 4, right? So make sure you have the destroy actor. You move that to the side. And what we're going to do is drag off a branch. So type in branch. Branch is the condition. And then what we need to check on this branch is, hey, is the health equal to 0? Right? So that's really easy. You have this variable called health. Drag the health variable onto your graph. Do a get. Yeah.
Wait, how? Wait, what? Okay, wait, so you should move the destroy actor to the side and then you drag onto the same photograph thing?
We're moving destroy actor to the side, yeah, and just so that we can continue off of this exact thing we've been writing. So you have this cast a first-person projectile. The very next thing you should have is branch. So put a branch in. That's what we just did. Okay, and then once you put the branch in, we're going to drag health variable onto our graph, and we're going to do a get health. And then drag off of health and just type in the equal sign, and you want to choose the one that says equal parentheses like integer, something, right? Just saying, hey, is it equal to, and then the bottom number. And the bottom number by default is 0. That's perfect. We're just asking, hey, is health equal to 0? And you can see that the output of this calculation is this red circle, and the input of the branch is also this red circle, which means they're the same type. They're Boolean, right? On or off, true or false. And you can connect them. So you just want to connect the end of that to the front of branch where it says condition. So all it's saying is, hey, Unreal, is the health variable equal to 0? If that's true, do the code on the true channel. If it's false, do the code on the false channel. Okay. What do you think is going to go on the true channel? You bet, destroy actor. So go ahead and drag off the true and type in destroy actor. Or you can take the one that you already had and move it over and connect them, either way. So true channel is going to be destroy actor. False channel is going to be a little bit more in depth. That you got to run your calculation for subtracting your health. It's not a tough calculation. It's like 3 nodes, right? It looks like this over here. But we'll do that from scratch. So for this false channel, I want you to drag health out again. And this time I want you to do a get and a set. So drag it out once, do get health, then drag it out again and do set health. Okay. And for the get health, that's the little one, you're going to drag off of that and type in the minus sign and choose integer minus integer. And it's going to default it to subtracting 1, which is perfect. Okay. Now the output of this calculation is going to be whatever, health minus 1 is equal to. That's this green circle on the right of the minus calculation. And you just want to drag that out and plug it right into your set health. Right into the thing that says health. So all you're saying is, hey, set health to whatever health minus 1 is. So you're decrementing health every time this calculation runs, which is going to run every time it gets hit by a bullet. Okay? Last thing is just make sure that you plug in your false channel into the front of that set. Yeah. Is anybody else lost? Well, you came late. Anybody else who was here on time that's lost? That's it? Okay. So Maria, do you have the live stream pulled up? So I recommend you pull up the live stream so that you can take a look at that. What's good about the live stream is it actually has a 10-second delay. So anything I say on there, or say in here, you'll see 10 seconds later. So it's a good clarifier. So go ahead and hit play and test. Remember, we already set some of these block healths. Grass should take like 3 or 4 hits. It does. Stone should take like 12. Finally mines, okay? So now we have that Minecraft effect. Dirt. Again, this is what your code should look like. Okay, now our water's currently blocking, like you can walk on it. We don't want that. In Minecraft, you can walk through your water. So let's do that. It's real simple. We're going to hop on over to the construction script. So click your construction script tab. This is all the code we wrote yesterday. It looks quite complex. I mean, think about it. You wrote all of this yesterday in a 40-minute class. And we're just going to find the channel where it says water. It should be your last on your list. The bottom, at least it is for me. Find where water goes, follow that wire, and then you can see, okay, we set the color of the water, we set the material here, and then we set its health to 1,000 or whatever so that it's impossible to destroy. And what we want to do next is, and actually setting its health to 1,000 is basically not necessary because of this next step, but I'm going to leave it the way it is. We're going to turn off the water's collision, which means that nothing can collide with it, from a projectile like our bullet to our player itself, which means we'll fall through it. And that the bullet will shoot through it as well. It won't have any collision. And to do that, it's real simple. All we want to do is, following on this water channel, the next node we want is we want to drag off your static mesh onto your graph from components in the left. Just drag that static mesh onto your graph. So you get your static mesh. And then once you have your static mesh on your graph, drag off of that. And you're typing in the word set collision. And choose the one that says set collision enabled. And under new type, make sure it says no collision, and then just connect those. So again, repeating that step. You drag static mesh onto your graph, right where the rest of the water code goes. You dragged off of static mesh, you typed in set collision, and you got the set collision enabled, and you just made sure that the collision now says no collision. I'm going to test that. Water. And I can. Now, it sort of seems like you can't if you only have 1 or 2 blocks through it, because the character is a little bit too big for the blocks. We'll probably fix that later. We'll make your character a little bit smaller so it can fit through. So now let's go to the front of Unreal, and we only have about 10 minutes left, so I don't know if we'll be able to implement this, but we'll get started on this next part. So what I want you to do is right-click or hit the Add New button in the green. I tell people to hit Add New, but my preferred method is actually hit right-click anywhere in the content browser. Same thing, same window, but anyway, you're clicking Add New, whatever, and you want to go make a new material. Remember we did that? We're going to make a material for when the block is hit. It's going to go like red for a second, you know, so it shows that it's getting hit and damaged a little bit. So you want to go to Materials and Textures, and then just choose the one that says Material. Okay. And I want you to name this M_block hit. M means material, so I put that in the front of that. And block hit means, hey, this is when it's hit, just so that we know what it's going to be used for. And then double click that material to go to here. Remember we did all this with the textures and stuff. And we're not going to make it a crazy complex material, but we are going to make like a red color. So you double click that material and you get this new window that comes up. Okay. And all you got to do is right click in your graph and type in the word vector, right? What's vector? And you choose vector parameter. Vector parameter is just a fancy, crazy programmer's term for a color. So vector parameter, and then in its details panel right here on the left, lower left, where it says default value, just set that to like a dark red. So again, the step there was you right-clicked anywhere in the graph. You typed in vector, and you chose vector parameter. And then you set it to dark red. And the last step is you just want to plug the top part of this, the white circle, the very top of your color, into the thing that says base color, which is the very top of this long rectangular set of settings, right? Just like that. So and if you hit apply, it'll show what it's previewed as, so I have this red color here. So remember, once you set that color, just to remember to plug that into base color. You have to have that wire going through it. Okay. So that's going to be it for what I'm instructing for this lesson. However, we have 10 minutes left actually now, 7:47 and 7:57. What I want all of you to do, without me instructing you on how, and you have to really think through this, is I want you to create a wood block. Using the same method that we've done already, the same blueprint. You're not making any new blueprints. You're not making any new materials, right? But you're going to make a wood block that we could also have in our world. Okay, so that's your challenge for the next 10 minutes. Do that. If you need to ask questions of me, I'll try to answer, but I kind of want you to figure it out yourself because it'll help you think the way that you need to think to be a developer. But you can ask each other and sort of figure it out. But yeah, in 10 minutes, try and make like a wood block so that you can make trees out of that, mine wood and all that. So that's a challenge, and I'm gonna put up the music, and that's that.